too.
Actually, all four. Even only he has scored now, even though it was by accident, but he has scored. You see, so we have potent players going forward, and we have a solid midfield in Aribo and Ndidi. So yes, it's good to have a creative De Bruyne kind of player, but we have more than enough resources. We have the tools needed to win a competition like AFCON.
Most of the creativity right now in Africa is similar to what was it who was that talking Charles, right? It was Charles talking about how the creativity comes from the wingers, right? And that is what we have in Africa right now.
Yep.
So in Nigeria you have the Simons, Chukwueze, Ejuke, Iwobi, Musa, if you add him to that list. Even in Cameroon, you mentioned Carl Toko Ekambi earlier. He's not really an AM, right? He's just a winger cum striker.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
exactly. But he brings some of their creativity for Cameroon.
In Ivory Coast, it's too Lucas Pepe too on the wing, so it's just crazy. Even Mark Gradel too.
Sly, are you back or your village people see them?
Don't mind them, Ojari. I've cast and bind them. Your father, all of them. I've cast and bind all of them.
If I may ask, I can't really.
Hello?
Anytime.
I can't remember the first like
they just come back stronger.
Wait, hold on. One house, please. Buzzy, are you saying something?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
In that 2013 team that won the Nations Cup, did we have any creative player? I can't really remember that team that much, but did we have any standout player that we knew that won the competition for us?
Not creative, but Sunday Umba kind of grew into the tournament as it went along. He showed up in two key games, the winner against Ivory Coast and the winner against Burkina Faso in the finals. The honest truth about that team was it was a unit. A lot of the home-based players who played on that team had been around the team for the longest. So one of the things that Stephen Keshi did, I was around that team a lot after the AFCON win. And one of the things that he did for the local players was they would play as a unit wherever the national team camped. And then they would go to their clubs to go play club football, and then they'll come back. So they were already a part of fabric of the team already, whether it was your Sunday Umbas, your what's the reserve goalkeeper's name? I can't remember his name now. Or
Victor Obabuna.
Godfrey Obabuna. What's his other boy's name? Azubuike. So like a lot of those guys were part of the team. They were part of the fabric of the team already. So it wasn't anything new that you were just inserting them into the team last minute or anything at all, and the team had played at the units prior to that AFCON. So, and then to be fair, that team peaked at the right time. They were leading their first game, they're leading their second game, and they allowed the opposition to come back into the game, and they tied. They tied against Burkina Faso, they tied against Zambia. I was cursing a storm. I was like, what is this rubbish? And then we were lucky. I think Ethiopia, played like Ethiopia. And we won that game, and then we went into the game against Ivory Coast, and we shocked the Ivorians. I can't remember. I think it was Rotimi that said, "Look at the way." I mean, if anybody watches Cameroon football is not sophisticated at all. It is very unsophisticated. It is basketball football. There is nothing exciting about Cameroon football. They are not. And if you've ever played against a Cameroonian, you will know that they are not. Let us come and dribble like Ghana. There's no flair in Cameroon football. It is basketballs, agidi. Let me tackle you. Let you know that I'm there. Kind of like an example, if you go back to 1990 AFCON, World Cup, Argentina versus Cameroon. I know that's a stretch and that's not fair, but that's a picture of what Cameroon football is. They played against an Ethiopian side that is, if you've ever watched Ethiopia at the AFCON, they always come out exciting. They tire out, and they are not technically sound enough to know how to, and they're not technically good enough either. They're exciting, they're fast-paced, and because of that, they throw a lot of caution to the wind. But the better side will always prevail against them. And that's what Cameroon did. You think if we had Ethiopia in our group, we wouldn't prevail against them? We will. We beat Ethiopia home and away in the World Cup qualifiers and the World Cup playoffs to 2014 World Cup. It wasn't even close. We beat them home and away. So that's who Ethiopia is. So for us to sit here and then I also heard somebody say the best player of the tournament is Vincent Abubakar. Really? 2 penalties and 1 tap in. I can't remember the 4th goal. Like, come on, guys. That is the easiest pick in the world of picks based on what? Stats. But if you really, really watch the game, there have been players who have actually played well at this AFCON. And one of them, unfortunately, even though he's a Nigerian, is Joe Aribo. He has go back and watch both games and watch the game that Joe Aribo has played at this AFCON. If I'm correct, he was man of this match, right? He was the one that was picked as man of the match in this game. There's a reason why.
It's Simon that was picked as man of the match.
Was it Simon?
Yeah, it was Simon.
Okay.
The game.
Okay.
Simon
I was watching the post match interviews, and he was the first person that came up. And typically that's who they always give, so that's why I thought it was Aribo. But Joe Aribo in this game. And both games, come on. If you go back and watch, I remember I said in the beginning of the first space before the game started that Joe Aribo and Wilfred Ndidi, what they do is going to be important because the Sudanese are not going to play the way the Egyptians are playing. And we saw that. They were tackling, they will step on the back of your foot. Those guys they're not coming here to play flair football. That's not African football. Kevin De Bruyne will not survive in Africa. Bernardo Silva will not survive in Africa. Bah. Our game is different.
I mean, we can already see people like Mahrez and Salah struggling now, even though Mahrez did perfectly well in the last AFCON, but yeah.
Really? Did he do perfectly well? Did you really watch that?
I mean, that is
the goal. Yes.
Still knocked us out.
Yes. But he did do. But if you go back and watch the entire AFCON, and here's the funny part about that AFCON, right? Ivory Coast that everybody's talking about now had the opportunity to beat Algeria in the quarterfinals. Nigeria would have met Ivory Coast and not Algeria. But Algeria. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Oreva, I think Oreva has had his hand up for a minute now. Oreva, you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you. What I wanted to say was regards to our 4-4-2 formation. I think we've played Egypt, whose game plan was to knock it up to Salah. We've played Sudan, who were actually more dangerous in transition. Is anyone scared that when we play a team that is a bit better in transition and has an extra midfielder that will get dominated? Because I was listening to Eguavoen's press conference and he said, he asked the players and they said they were more comfortable with this formation and he let them do. I don't want to be too analytic, look into things too much, but it didn't strike me with much confidence if, as the manager, you're saying, okay, you're waiting for the players to dictate to you what formation is good for you. So that's what I wanted to throw to the floor. Because the 4-4-2, after we scored that first goal, they had an extra body in midfield and they were winning those second balls. And in transition, if they just had better decision makers, we would have considered 1-1.
Nigerians now what for now?
I was just about to say.
You do have a point.
Christ.
Now
we just won a game.
Like, no, it's not even that. It's not even that. It's like what and I think it's lost in translation and misinterpretation, because one of the things that Moses Simon said is that he's playing with a sense of freedom when it comes to tactics and formation. If you've watched Eguavoen's video, there's a video on Eguavoen on YouTube. His formation is his formation. It will change as the game goes along. So that's probably where the conversation was had with the players. Because I'll use an example. Here in America, when Jürgen Klinsmann was the national team coach of the U.S., they played Mexico in a game and the U.S. tried to play a 3-5-2. The players ran to the sidelines 15 minutes into the game and told him, bro, this thing ain't working, man. We got to change it. That's part of that communication. That's part of that understanding that, okay, this is what will work for your team. So, to think that Eguavoen, and I think that's the one thing, a lot of people don't know Austin Eguavoen. I mean, this is a guy who has been around for years. He's been around since the 80s. Yes, he's not as, as boisterous as your Keshis or your Olises, but this guy has been around for a while for a reason. And he comes from the Stephen Keshi school of thought in terms of hard knocks, put his foot down as a disciplinarian. No player on that team is just going to walk up to him and tell him this formation we're going to play. Knowing the school of thought that he comes from, no player is going to walk up to him and tell him that. So I just, but hey, we won. let's be excited for once. We're in the round of 16. You just heard a Ghanaian saying, their team Nigeria, because I trust you. If the shoe was on the other foot, and we were in Ghana's position right now, the conversations would be a lot different. So let's have a little bit more positivity, because here's the one thing, right? Prior to when Nigeria played, this AFCON was dull, was boring. I heard Ghanaians on Twitter saying Nigeria has set the tempo for AFCON, and we've seen matches match that tempo. We've seen other teams have to match that tempo. That's what Nigeria does. We set the bar, and everybody now has to step their game up. So let's give our team some credit. And here is a team, like I think it was Uncle Arno that said we didn't even have, or whoever, somebody else said we didn't have Osimhen, and we didn't have Dennis. One player that everybody keeps forgetting that we didn't have, and it's not Igalo, is Leon Balogun, our central defense general. That's the one player that we are truly missing. Because if Leon is there, Omero is not starting.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. And I was going to say on the discussion about Kevin De Bruyne and us playing, we're not Man City. We're not Man City. I will keep saying it. We are the biggest country in Africa in terms of everything that we do. Everybody looks to Nigeria to set the pace. Everybody looks to Nigeria to see, what are they going to do? How can we copy? How can we make it better? Our team is playing so good. And people keep talking about Kevin De Bruyne. We forgetting that Iheanacho is actually a centre forward. Yes, he plays striker, but he's that link up. That link up between Ndidi and Iheanacho. That connection that they have from Leicester, it shows a lot in the game, because every time Ndidi gets the ball, and Aribo is making that run to take players out of position, Indeed is always dropping in. That's why it looks like we're playing a false nine. It looks like we're playing a false nine all the time. And so I don't understand the conversation of like we need a Kevin De Bruyne to win it. There's no better 11 technically good actual footballers. You need to understand that majority of our players play in the hardest league in the world, which is the Premier League. And they do very, very, very well. Indeed, is sought after by even Real Madrid. If I'm hearing from Fabrizio Romano, like these are very, very, very good technical players. I can't understand. I know, like, we don't want to get carried away, but I'm just baffled. Like sometimes, like with the conversations that comes up. Yes, we're trying to assess the game and see what we can do going forward. But come on, man! I don't want to hear this Cameroon can beat Nigeria. I don't see any football team right now in the AFCON that can actually give us like that much trouble. Yes, we don't have the best center striker. We don't have like a key number 9. We have the best 11. We were talking about Alex Iwobi earlier on. We were talking about even resting players, after the second game in the AFCON. We've never had this conversation for 5, 6, 7 years. So I just wish we can be a little more positive and not just, have this blues that, oh my God, we started so well, maybe we peaked or something like that. Nah, I think we're only going to get better. And just support the team and wish us good luck. You know what I mean? If the Ghanaians are with us, I expect Nigerians to be with us as well. Just keep it positive. Keep it positive. That's all I'm going to say about it. What's that
saying again? Prophet's never recognized in his own home. That's just what it is. And here's another interesting thing, right? France has won 2 World Cups, and both World Cups, their strikers didn't score a single goal. Go back and look at it. France had Stéphane Guiva and Christophe Dugarry for their 2 strikers of the World Cup in 98, and they had Olivier Giroud in 2018. None of those guys scored a goal. Not one of them scored a goal. And France has 2 stars on their shirts, indicating that they're World Cup champions. So I'm not saying our strikers shouldn't score. I'm saying that it doesn't take away from the depth of the team and how good our team is. So Fumi, I thought you had your hand up earlier before you got dropped off. And this your 1-1 draw, we are going to and 0-0 draw. I don't know, Fumi. Questioning you, but go ahead.
You're not here when I made the point that the Sudanese team actually changed their style of play today. I don't know if it was because of the early goal.
Okay.
And aside from that, the Super Eagles actually played fantastic. They played fantastic football today. So it was impressive all through. I enjoyed every bit of the game compared to the first Sudanese game. It was actually boring then. So I think it's a very, very good form that we are in at the moment. And I was actually shocked to hear someone say that Cameroon stands a better chance of winning the AFCON compared to Nigeria. I don't know if that person has actually seen a Cameroonian game in this AFCON tournament so far. Even their star player that is supposed to be in motm has not been in top form. They haven't capitalized on their chances. They wasted them when they got them. So I'm actually surprised. It was judging by the 4-1 win. I think Nigeria would actually run riots on Cameroon based on the compactness of our team. We are not depending on one player. We are not just looking up to one player. Do you actually know if they actually cut Abubakar out of the Cameroonian team, the way they did with Salah, Cameroon will just be running like headless chickens on the pitch against Nigeria. So it's actually shocking to hear someone say we might not beat or we would not beat Cameroon because we don't have a number 10. You use what you have to get what you want. We have the wings. We can capitalize on that. We have creative players that are actually spontaneous and think things through all the time. So I think it's not about having a standard number 10. Football has evolved beyond having a key player to dictate the pace of a game or actually stabilize the game. Sometimes we all see that De Bruyne doesn't turn up in key matches or some matches, and so they need to depend on another angle or another aspect of the team. So if we have the wings, we can capitalize on it. Ndidi and Aribo have been fantastic in the midfield. They've been holding things together. They look as if they've been playing together for quite a long time, which is shocking actually, and it's impressive too as well. So Moses Simon, well, his crosses, we still need to work on that. He still needs to work on delivering the balls better. But I'm happy he actually got a goal today. And he played well today. He stretched the Sudanese defense, him and Chukwueze before Iwobi came on. So it was an impressive game all around. So I was very, very impressed.
All right, thank you, Fumi. Let me yield the floor to one of my colleagues here. I've known this gentleman for over 24 years now, going on 25 years. Oluwashina Okileji of the BBC, arguably the best journalist in Africa. He's a very good friend of mine. He's actually camped with the team in Garua. There is nothing Super Eagles that passes and crosses through that man. Every player that has come through Super Eagles since the 90s have come through Oluwashina Okileji. So Oluwashina, what's the mood in camp like?
Well, Sulaiman, if you are Wasiu Ayinde Marshall, I would have paid you some money. But I don't think I'm the best journalist in Africa.
Still send it. This story, all those other ones can be telling themselves. We know, but go ahead.
Anyway, it's good to hear Fumi and the rest of the guys say Cameroon and all that. I just think Coach Austin Eguavoen put things into proper perspective when he said, we're not looking too far ahead. The boys understand this fact. They're not taking their foot off the gas. Ola, reiterated that during our conversation in the mid zone. So I think the fans can get carried away. The fans can be saying all of these. But for the players and the coaching crew, they are not even looking too far. They're focusing on Guinea-Bissau. Also for Nigeria, I think sometimes these same fans who are saying, yeah, we are flying. Let Nigeria play Guinea-Bissau and struggle. They say, what is wrong with this coach? Why do we are just who we are as Nigerians. There's nothing bad in wanting more for your team and also having these high expectations that you can actually win the tournament. But if there's anything we have done so far in Garoua, it is make the noise. The fans are making the noise. Super Eagles are making the right noises by winning games. And they've been very convincing. We saw Egyptian journalists over here. We saw everyone saying Nigeria should win this trophy. They're even saying Egypt can just pack up and go because they are now saying they are working to get their coach fired. I mean, a coach that is earning $90,000 a month. They believe Carlos Queiroz, the former Manchester United assistant manager, should be doing more. This is the same Nigeria where your national FA president, Amadou Pinnick, is obsessed with anything foreign. He doesn't want to hear anything about local coach. Right here, he's been hiding. He doesn't want to be talking because people are confronting him and saying to him that, listen, you're just in a hurry to appoint Jose Peseiro. And when you look at even some journalists there, labeled him Passat, Peseiro, whatever. they just start saying all sort of things about the new manager. But hey, the truth here is this. This man hasn't signed a contract yet as coach of Nigeria. He hasn't. He was supposed to be here to observe the tournament. Remember, that was the statement when he was appointed. I think these are some of the. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I've never been. I don't practice law, but I think these are some of the things that the legal department of the Nigerian Football Federation will be looking at. Some people. I also think some people are saying, look, we might be getting carried away with what Austin Eguavoen is doing right now. Maybe when. I mean, how do you judge a coach? It is in a tournament. Paro made the Super Eagles very difficult to watch. Some people said they've tuned off the Super Eagles. Moses Simon is flying again. Like Fumi pointed out, yes, he should be crossing. He says he wants to continue to cross. This is the only Moses that is scared of the cross. We don't know. After all, he shouldn't be scared of crossing, you know. So basically, I think everyone is buzzing. The players are happy. Every time you see them, they are excited. That is the spirit right here in Garoua, Sulaiman.
Luashino Keleji of the BBC, my guy. Listen, when I say he's the best in Africa, there is no bias behind it. One of the journalism 101 tenets is that you leave your objectivity you leave your subjectivity and objectivity at the door. This man right here, if he tells you one thing about Super Eagles, it is gospel. I am telling you right now. So anything he tells you about Super Eagles is gospel. Shino, let me ask you this. You've known Eguavoen as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, he's cut from the same cloth as Stephen Keshi. So the team is almost going to, maybe not stylistically, but in terms of discipline, be like a Stephen Keshi side, correct?
Absolutely. He's a gentleman. Compared to Stephen Keshi, if you're in a meeting, God rest Hegmoso, you know, Stephen Keshi will eat the table. Eguavoen will hold his hand and say, no, Stephen, no be here, we'll go fight. You know, that is the Benin thing in them. One is hot, one is cold. Eguavoen is more relaxed. He's not that person that lets his emotions speak. You can insult him all you want, he won't raise his voice. It's set the team up in a different way. He's giving freedom to the players to play. He's giving them freedom to talk to him. I understand that Sadiq Umar had a little problem, you know, ahead of the first game. He was a bit jittery. That was the word he used. And he felt like they need to keep him. I think they were going to start with him instead of Awoni. They were going to start with Sadiq Umar because he was showing some crazy form in training sessions. But then the player said, he said he was a bit jittery and we had to help him. That's for another manager, I would put him among the 5 absent players that should be in the stand and not there. But he said we need to encourage these boys. Samuel Chukwueze, many people felt he should start he should start this game out. But Eguavoen insists if you keep punishing your young players because they refuse to raise their game in one game, then you are not helping them, you are destroying them. So he's continuing to do that. He's a gentleman. Everyone keeps pushing him here. You know, during the practice session, people will be shouting, no foreign coach, no foreign coach. He'll keep telling them, my mission here is for the African Cup of Nations. My job is to play at the African Cup of Nations. Anything outside that is out of my hands. So he's a very good coach. His system is very simple. He goes on the attack. He reminds the players of their job on the pitch. He and I fell out a few times in Egypt during the AFCON in 2006. That was because some of the players didn't really show him so much respect because he wasn't raising his voice. Remember, that was the tournament. That was Okocha's final tournament as a Nigerian international, because a lot of people felt because of they played together at the 94 World Cup. They played together at the 98 World Cup. So a lot of people felt like he wasn't really stamping his authority. He's not one to shout, like I said. He's not an Agbero coach. He's not one to also give you excuses. Like Paro will tell you, we have a young squad, we have a young squad. He's telling them they are men, they are responsible players. And he's also reminding the players to play for Nigeria is a huge opportunity, honor, privilege, and you've got to grab it. Who says that? Who says that? If they tell you that kind of thing and you go there, go mess up. Come on, downfall you go enter, come up for Garoua.
My man, always dropping gems. Please, people, ask my guy a question. He's in Garoua. They have taken lights. They have seen up Nepal in Garoua and Cameroon. Ask him questions about the team. The floor is yours, guys. Go ahead. Oluwashina, please bear with us. Hang out for a little bit.
Yo.
Yes, Megida, go ahead. What's your question?
Sorry, but I think why is it that that man Eguavoen is to start Musa? What is happening there? I don't understand. Is it that Musa is not fit or what?
So out of everybody in the team, Ahmed Musa who is to be starting over?
He's not even starting the match. I guess he's to put his second half like that, something like that. I don't know.
Let me explain this to you. If you understand very well, Alaji, Musa
Yes,
wasn't
sir.
even starting under Genetro.
Yeah.
That's why Musa himself has finally come out to say he needs to give opportunity to younger players. Ahmed is not the same player that he used to be when he was playing for Kano Pillars. He's not the same player he was at the last World Cup where he broke through the ice of Iceland to actually score 2 goals for Nigeria. He understands this and he hasn't been complaining so far. You don't want a player who is blowing hot and cold. Even at Faith Fama Karako, whatever, something. I'm sorry, apologies if I can't pronounce the Turkish club name where he plays. He's also not a regular. So it's telling you that as the player becomes older, as he grows older, the pace drops down. And I mean, Alaji, if you want to be fair, would you rather start Simon Moses on the bench and play Musa, or would you start Chukwueze on the bench and play Musa, or even Chidera Ejuke? Musa himself has admitted that he's happy to play a big part role for the Super Eagles, and that is the hallmark of a leader. And that's why he's saying he's leaving the stage for the young players at the end of this tournament and hopefully play at the World Cup for Nigeria.
Okay, I have a question. What is the coach doing about this Lukman, Dennis, and all those people that the club denied them of coming over? Especially like Dennis. I'm sure
No,
Dennis is fit and up and doing. You know, according to what I heard, or a friend told me that Nigeria sent a message lately that the coach or the team said they should do that 2 weeks before the competition. But Nigeria they fucked up in the sense that they sent a message to them that they want Dennis to
Alaji,
be.
mind your
I don't
language.
know.
There are young children here, please. Alaji,
Sorry,
mind your
Alaji,
sir.
language.
it's PG-13 over here. But Shino, go
Please.
ahead and tackle Alaji's question.
Well, quickly, for Lukman, he hasn't even put in an application to get his clearance at FIFA. The delay was also the fault of the player. 1 minute he wants to play for Nigeria. The next minute he says he was granting an interview in England where he was saying he's open to Nigeria, blah, blah, blah. All of that time, Nigeria did all the clearance in terms of getting him sorted to get his the letter he needed to write for change of nationality, blah, blah, blah. He was supposed to get his Nigerian passport. He didn't get it until Kelechi Iheanacho pushed him when he joined Leicester City to go and get a passport. If you want to play for Nigeria, you should show commitment. I think this is where, I'm one to always knock down the NFF because of their unprofessionalism. But in this particular case concerning Lukman, I think Lukman dropped the ball there. He should show his commitment by actually getting all the documents required of him. Take for instance, Ashley Plumter, the women footballer, the former England youth player for women. She went to the FA herself. Listen, when you play for England, you need clearance from 4 home nations. That's why they call it United Kingdom. So the Northern Ireland has to clear you, Wales have to clear you, Scotland have to clear you. When it gets to the English FA, those guys sit down like thugs and they don't want to come and clear you because they are like, we'll make your life miserable and all that. It's always difficult. So imagine a Lukman who can't even sort himself out for a passport that is within his control. How then can the NFF go? Because they had even gotten all the documents. By the time he's showing interest now, those documents have expired. They have to go and start all over again. That is for Lukman. I think I talked too much on Lukman, but that's the truth about Lukman. For Emmanuel Dennis, he fell out with Genotro. If Genotro had stayed as manager of Nigeria, if Emmanuel Dennis let him score on the moon, let him score 100 goals in the Premier League, he wasn't going to come. And this has to do with discipline. This young man, before he started blowing the Premier League and setting everything on fire, he had disciplinary issues, both at Club Brugge in Belgium as well as in Cologne. But when he came to England, it was like, look, they were trying to, the Belgian club were happy to get rid of him. But what has worked for him is his attitude has changed, his professionalism has changed. But that didn't sway Genetro to include him in Nigeria professional squad. Eventually, when he started shining in the Premier League, Nigerians were screaming and shouting. Even Genot refused to add him. It was the NFF, the moment they started realizing that Genot was on his way out, that they quickly added him to the provisional squad. And that is the technicality that Watford are using. That's why the coach, Claudio Ranieri, said, I think the invitation came very late. So that's why Dennis is not here. He himself wasn't interested because of the situation, but I understand where he's coming from. But he also needs to work on his discipline. You don't need a player who doesn't want to play for you. I'm sorry, he might be playing anywhere in the world, but if he doesn't want to play for the Super Eagles, there are millions of footballers who are dreaming of representing Nigeria. If you don't feel like being a member just because of a coach, then you don't belong to us. So I think he himself would have learned his lesson now. I understand from Trust and Etebo that now he's committed to playing for Nigeria. And who else did you mention? Igalo, there was nothing he could do The club didn't want him to go. When they signed him as a former Nigeria international. Now he wants to go to the AFCON. You need to look at all of these things, and sometimes we need to be fair. We know that the player should play, but for Igalo, I don't know what point he wants to come and prove at the AFCON again. We had a Victor Osimhen. Igalo finished top scorer at the last AFCON. He wasn't necessarily needed in the Nigerian team setup, but then again, he's been included and he couldn't make it. So I think we just need to take things easy when we talk about Nigeria and what's going on. Sulaiman, I think that answers Nigida's question.
Sorry, please, Mr. Chino, quick one. For the players that are absent from this tournament, perhaps if we qualify for the World Cup after the playoff is being played, what do you think? Would these players now be reinstated? I'm talking about likes of Victor Osimhen, Emmanuel Dennis, even Trusekong, Oganeka Etebo. Do you think that they should then be put in the roster of players going to Qatar come the end of the year if Nigeria, get the tickets to Qatar? And what do you think it will be for team spirit and all of the confidence that this set of players that are currently in Cameroon must have built by that point in time?
Thank you very much. It's a very good question. Apart from Ogeneka Etebo, you would understand why Watford held back that he shouldn't go because he's just coming back from injury. He hasn't even played for them. So I think Eguavoen did try with Watford, and that was when he got the first sign that things were not going to be well with Watford. The way they treated the Etebo situation, he was going to be fit for this game today. His first game that he was able to play for Nigeria would have been against Sudan, but they said no. So it's still part of the plan. As for Victor Osimhen, I don't think Eguavoen is looking to punish him. He practically called Eguavoen on the phone. He begged to be left out, and he explained in very simple terms. One, of course, Napoli didn't want him to go. But secondly, he hasn't even trained since his surgery and all of that. And then, remember, he's catching COVID for the 2nd December running. The first COVID situation he had in Nigeria when he was doing that birthday party, he caught COVID, and he caught COVID again whilst in Nigeria. So all of these things are things that are really getting Napoli upset and all of that. Medically, he wasn't certified enough to come and play. Initially, Napoli were going to let him go so Nigeria can observe it. Then he got to Nigeria, he caught COVID, that complicated the matters, and that's why he pulled out. So he's still part of the team. During the flash interview today, what's his name? Chukwueze dedicated his goal to Osimhen, saying, "I miss my roommate. This one is for Osimhen." He's still part of the team. The ones you're talking about, I think Igalo is the only one who had actually been practically dragged in from the back door to come into the team because everyone thought he had retired from the national team. Bringing him back, we had no idea what was going on. The NFL president was pushing. Parrot too was pushing. So everything became like, you want this player. He practically was the one that was being forced on the team. So he's the only one that, for Emmanuel Dennis, forget. He needs to have a clear conversation with Austin Eguavoen. Are you with me or you are against me? You need to make up your mind. If you are for me, then you should be fighting to come and play for me. If you are against me, then stay out of my team. Eguavoen might not be able to say that because you expect a Joseph Pesero to take over after the tournament in Cameroon. But then again, things might change in the next few weeks. Pesero is not our coach yet because he hasn't signed a contract with the NFL. He's supposed to be here. Cameroon is not here. So those are the technicalities that I think might end the Portuguese coach reign as Super Eagles coach, the coach that never was. Just like the old Brazilian man that Nigeria signed and that said he wanted to go to Brazil to pick up his shoe. The man never returned as coach of Nigeria. I think he's dead now.
The former Brazilian World Cup captain.
Absolutely, that one.
Yeah.
Baba changed level. Went to Brazil, never came back. So exciting times ahead for Nigeria.
Hello, sorry, Chino. With all of these strikers that we are mentioning, we keep on forgetting Paul Onashi, who was the top scorer in Belgium last year. What do you think his future is with the Super Eagles at the moment?
He's still part of the team. He struggled under Paro. I'm sorry I called him Paro. I'm showing respect to my elders, now. So basically, he's still part of the team. He struggled under Genetro. I think things weren't really going well for him. Then he had these moments of truth in Benin when he scored in that qualifier and then came to Lagos, he scored again. He's still part of the team. I think Paul's problem really is the fact that you need to change your style to accommodate him. he can continue to score in the Belgian league. But when it comes to Nigeria, it's a different ballgame. Imagine if you had to score Moses Simon in the last 2 years. I'm pretty sure you put him on a bus and send him to Benue State or Kaduna and tell him not to come back to the Super Eagles again. That was how difficult it was for him to really. I told him, apart from crossing, apart from struggling to cross, Moses Simon was doing 3-man's job under Genetro. Cannot always blame him when the goal comes from the flank where he stays. He wants him as a wing back. He wants him to also go forward. At the same time, he needs him to track back anyone that is assigned to take over that flank wherever he's playing. That guy will be confused. Sometimes he doesn't know if to cross the Red Sea or to come back to Jerusalem. So he's always confused. He doesn't even know what to do. But, kudos to Eguavoen now, who's giving him opportunity and freedom to fly. So I think you don't need to worry too much about Paul Onuachu. He would need to adapt his game to the Super Eagles style or find himself on the bench. Mind you, there's Peter Olayin-Kaye, who also craves a chance, who wants a chance to play for Nigeria. Sadiq Umar hasn't kicked the ball at this he played last year, but hasn't really kicked a ball that he wants to play in terms of how he wants to lead the striking force. He would have been a lead striker now, and probably even if he had scored against Egypt, people would have completely forgotten about Paul Onuachu. But he's still part and parcel of the team.
Great point. Hold on.
Okay.
If you want to ask a question, raise your hand so that way we can have other people ask questions. We don't want the same person continuing to throw questions at him. So if you want to ask a question, go ahead and raise your hand and then we'll just bring you in. Shino, somebody asked something earlier about players coming into the fold after this. Everyone should remember Peter Odewenge was not part of the team that went to the AFCON in 2013 that won. After his Twitter explosion, and he was still brought back into the team. Why? Because if you're playing well and you're performing, you will be brought back into the team. That's just a given. Let me ask you this, Oshino. What's going to happen with Kevin Akpoguma? We went to beg this kid. He played against us in the under 20s when the Isaac Success of this world, the Iheanachos, the Xavier Godwins, and the Ndidis played against Germany. And ever since then, everybody was salivating over this kid. He said he was going to play for Germany. He eventually made the switch to play for us. And now, is he ever going to be on the inside, or was he a paro kid that is going to never come back and play for Nigeria?
Let me clarify something. Peter Odemwingie, if you know all the people that were involved in him coming back, it wasn't just his form for West Brom or what have you.
Yeah, we all played a huge role.
There are powerful people in Benin that called both of them. Remember, Odemwingie's dad is from Edo State. Keshi is from Edo State. It was high-level chieftaincy conversation they were having in terms of forgive him, he's your brother. I was as you said, bow down for your boss, he's your brother. That was how they sorted that thing out. But hey, let's give thanks to God, and may the Lord continue to rest Stephen Keshi's soul. A magnificent manager, a legend in Nigerian football. Quickly, you asked a very, very important question there, but I think something you need to understand when it comes to Nigeria is that we tend to live in the moment. Everyone tends to live in the moment. You ask the coach, what do you want to achieve with this team? He tells you he wants to win the AFCON. That's his target. He knows that should he get the AFCON, it will be a huge success for him because no one expected him to win, right? But when you look at the player like Kevin Akpoguma, he was solely scouted by Genetro. Genetro wanted him, spoke German to him, said he wanted him. Kevin was a bit reluctant, remember, in the first part of Genetro's reign as coach of Nigeria. He thought about it, he thought it was in Germany's plan. But eventually, he came home and he came to play for Nigeria. Following the intervention of his dad, actually, he felt he was more German than Nigeria. Eventually, he came to play. There's nothing wrong about his attitude or what have you. I just think every manager, I think Genot had a big plans for him. I have no idea what went on, and that was the only player I never even asked from the players dropped. But you can see the kind of players that they brought back when they needed to quickly change the squad. They went for Tyrone Eboué that they had left out of the squad. So it tells you a lot about the thinking of the manager. Kevin is a fantastic player. Is he part of Eguavoen's plans now? I think that would be selfish and wicked on our part to be asking him about players who are not here, rather than focus on players who are here.
Okay, can I ask a quick question? Actually, before I ask the question, I'll mention something. I'm really grateful that Lord Shina is here.
I've been reading him since I was a kid, pretty much. So this is, an honor to hear him talk. And the way he's kind of, telling everything, please come back after every game, okay? I think this is, I don't know, I think Suleiman, they start this after every game. Please come back after every game and let us know what's going on in camp. I also like your tidbit about the new alleged coach. I thought he was in Cameroon. I didn't even know he was not in Cameroon. So if that's how he's going to start, then I think we're going to have an issue because the announcement they made was that he's going to be signed, he's going to take over after the Nations Cup, and he's going to observe at the Nations Cup. So if he's not even there observing, then what are we doing? So that's my first question because that doesn't make any sense to me. Then the next, the main question I actually had initially was, so we have all these players. Like before the tournament, I was really interested in how Onyeka was going to play. Then Joe Aribo obviously took over and he's been awesome. So, but I was wondering in the next game, do you know if they're planning to play some of the players who haven't really played? Because I'm still interested in how Onyeka is going to play. Most likely he might not be playing with Ndidi, but I still want to see how he's going to be in the tournament. Then how you mentioned that Sadiq Umar was nervous initially. Do you think maybe he's planning to start him in this last game to kind of get over those nerves, right? So I think that's going to be important going forward because if we have an injury or something like that, we need him to have a feel of the game. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, thank you very much. When you said you've been reading me since you were young, my brother, I know you're that old though. Sulaiman tell you say you know me 25 years now because we grew up together. Please, but it's great to hear that. Thank you very much. I feel honored, and I'm glad you like some of the things I put out. Quickly, Onyeka is also part of the team setup. You see, every coach has his own plans and shape. Like Moses Simon pointed out to us during the press conference, he said the coach has his own philosophy and idea. Onyeka is part of the team, but we know for a fact that Eguavoen is going to make some changes for the game against Guinea-Bissau because it's pointless. Kenneth Omeruo was practically patched to play this game. They kept treating his groin in the last 2 days. Wilfred Ndidi had a bit of a knock against Egypt. So all of these things you don't hear or see. But Eguavoen is trying as much as possible to carry all the players along. Yeah, Sadiq Umaru was nervous. I mean, you don't blame the young man. Since playing at Rio 2016 for Nigeria, he hasn't really played any tournament or really had any opportunity to play, a huge tournament like this. The coach will not go into details. There are doctors, there are everyone who can talk to the player. So, but as it is now, I'm pretty sure he might bring the changes for the game against Guinea-Bissau because I mean, it's bound to. It's bound to some of these players. A player like Moses Simon, earlier today, we were all worried for him. The way Moses was patting their defense line like this, we were all scared. Like, look, this Sudanese player, they might just pack him and send him to Lagos before we know it. So I think it might rest him. It might rest some players for the game against Guinea-Bissau. I think Temitayo wants to ask a question.
I wanted to ask initially about the injury update. I was hearing something about Awaziem being what's it called, out of the tournament. I wasn't sure about that. But and also another thing I wanted to ask about was in terms of Alex Iwobi. Do you think, or I know you're a bit privy to their training sessions, do you think his position is changing? Do you think Eguavoen sees him more as a winger than a 10? And also, I know I've been seeing like some reports about how Henry Onyekuru is tearing it up in training and all. Do you think he's going to eventually like have a run in the camp and all? Yeah, so that's basically it.
Well, thanks, Temitayo. Quickly, for Awaziem, I understand from some sources within the team that it was actually a COVID situation, but the officials don't want it out. So I don't know. When we confronted Eguavoen, first he said it was a knock, next he said me, then the next thing he said fever. So it tells you they were just trying to play their cards cold. So he's not out of the tournament. I think once he returns a negative result, hopefully, maybe he will join the rest of the squad. But this is something that they didn't put out there. But this is just what someone within the camp told me. That's why. But he hasn't been ruled out of the tournament entirely. For the next question about Onyekuru, I'll come to Alex Iwobi, but Onyekuru, you're right. We are prevented from watching. We only allowed to watch the first 15 minutes of training. Eguavoen strictly, as well as the team officials, will always deny journalists access. So some of the information you are hearing is probably coming from journalists who have also heard something. But the truth here is he's having a good one in training session. Eguavoen shape his team and his plans around the players that he needs. When you listen to Eguavoen speak, if you are a player and you don't want to play, I'm pretty sure you pack your bag. I guess that's why Sadiq Kumar just quickly raised up his hand and said, "Sir, me, I cannot do this job." Probably, I'm just guessing. But that's the demand of the coach. If you can't do your job, he said he did the way they double team on what's it called, Mohamed Salah the other day, and that tells you, he said, if someone doesn't do his business, someone else needs to step up. So if you can't play in his shape and his plans, then you can't be here. So, but I think he has his plans and he has everything. Earlier today, when I spoke to Alex Iwobi in the mix zone, I asked him, you've come into 2 games now. What is it that the coach is telling you and all that? And he said to me, this particular game, he told me, go inside. I need you to take the ball to them. I need you to take the ball to them. And when you take the ball to them, keep your eyes open and look for Simon Moses and the rest of them. Wing play, you would think, but is going inside the middle. So you're standing in between the defensive midfielders and just doing what the coach wants him to do. I know a lot of people wanted to see Chidera Ejuke. Eguavoen has tried as much as possible to protect this player by telling people that people shouldn't get carried away and expect to see the next JJ or Kocha. He's Chidera Ejuke. They need to protect him. He's young. Sometimes he plays the football like he's playing 5-a-side where they call monkey post or set for Nigeria. So he says sometimes you just need to remind him that he's playing with the rest of his team. So I think by and large, Eguavoen knows everything about this team. Before he took over as interim manager, he's been working and focusing on the team as a technical director. He's been watching them under Kenetro. He knows the strength and the weakness of his team, and he has his own philosophy as a manager. What you see now are the players that he believes can do the job for him. 2 wins in 2. What else do you want?
Facts, man. Facts. 2 wins in 2. Does anybody else want to ask a question?
Finally, would Eguavoen be open to taking the
Sorry, I have a question.
Oh wait, okay, wait. Let Temitayo go. Or was it Temitayo that just asked?
Yeah, I would ask this and leave. Is Eguavoen open to taking the job permanently?
He's been very diplomatic, Temitayo. The last time someone asked him that, he said, my order from my bosses is to lead the team at the AFCON. Anything after that, he can't speak about it, and that's with respect to the man that has been appointed. I'm not sure the NFF respected him. I'm not sure the NFF are showing him respect by naming this man even before he took charge of his first game. That's highly disrespectful. But he has completely respected his employers by saying he doesn't want to speak about something that is out of his control. All he cares about is to handle the team at the AFCON. He's not even looking too far ahead.
Yeah, sorry. My question is Collins, the guy that play full left back, is he part of this team? Collins.
Yeah, Jamilu Collins arrived on the eve of the game against Egypt. On the team list today, when you see 28-man squad, we don't have Igalo here, so there's 27. Only 23 players are registered officially to be part of the team. The other 5 players, that's where Jamilu Collins fall into. He had his own COVID situation too. That's why he arrived late in camp. As soon as he got a negative test, that's when he came into camp. So he is not part of the 23. The only reason why he would play now is if anyone tests positive and they need, or if there's any COVID situation or any serious injury. I'm not even sure CAF are thinking too far ahead by saying you need to put all your the players who are marked absent into your main squad. No. Jamilu Collins is registered. He's part of the 5 alongside Peter Olayinka, Nobu the goalkeeper, Indadi centre back. I mean, there are 5 of them there. I think that's then what's his name? Chidozie Awazem is also one of the 5 players that are kept away from the 23 that CAF expect you to always present before any game.
I have one more question about the situation with the coach. If you, I don't know if if Sulaiman will remind everybody, I was one of the biggest advocates for not firing Aribo. I thought it was too close to the tournament. I thought the way they were going about it was wrong, and I felt most of the problems was with the NFF. So with looking at Eguavoen now, it reminds me of how the team played under Keshi. There's also a certain level of pride you feel, when you're looking at, you're watching the game here in the US, and you see the coach, and the coach is a Nigerian. Even though we had draw, and I thought he was okay, manageable. I think looking at Eguavoen, I feel pride, because yeah, he's a Nigerian coach. Now, going forward, the issues with the NFF. Do you think, if let's say this Jose Pesero guy doesn't come, do you think the issues with the NFF are going to change going forward? Has there been any? Because I think the biggest issue we have is the NFF, not necessarily the coach. Because I think the NFF frustrates all the coaches. They don't pay them. Even they were still owing Genatroa before he left. So do you know if there's any changes that are going to be made going forward with the NFF? Because I think that's the biggest issue we have in Nigerian football.
Well, Dr. Chudi, I can't speak for the NFF. I don't work with them. But one thing I've come to understand is I've followed Nigerian football in the last 2 decades. Nothing changed. They will always owe coaches. They will always owe players. There is no AFCON. AFCON is incomplete without Nigeria's drama over bonus row, over coaches claiming and crying for their money and all that. It doesn't look like it's going to change under Jose Pesero. I also understand from sources that this man actually spoke to Genatroa before he took the job. He wanted to be sure how come they were owing him and all of that. We don't know what transpired between both of them. We don't know what Genatroa told him, but this man took the job. And like I said earlier, the man just wanted to cover his own side. I mean, he's a Portuguese. Portuguese they are not really that different from us too. Now, when it comes to money, everybody wants getting money for your hand. So you're a businessman. You need to get paid for a job done. So what I think would happen is Amadou Pinnick, like I said to you, is obsessed with anything foreign. That's why when he was, speaking to this coach, he made a statement. The international media grabbed it. They told me he was speaking to Mourinho to come and coach Nigeria. They misinterpreted him, and that's what happens when you talk too much. When you talk too much, you get misquoted and you get yourself into trouble. Don't talk yourself into trouble. He said he consulted Jose Mourinho and Arsene Wenger in his quest to get a coach for Nigeria. That's because some of these players, Pesero had Mourinho on his CV as a referee or whatever, reference, whatever. So they had to speak to him and say, what can you tell us about this man? I actually believe that was what turned the tide for the guy. That was how the guy got the job. Is it good enough for Nigeria? I don't think so. Is it the right man for the job? I absolutely disagree. Because when you look at his record, I mean, he got fired twice in 2018. He hasn't really managed the national team to success. He hasn't really done anything outstanding wherever he's gone. We know Johnny Men tends to take job in Nigeria. But when you go for journeyman, do you go for the one who has a point to prove and establish himself? Since Westerhoff left Nigeria, what did he do? Nothing. Johannes Bonfore, what did he do? Nothing. That goes to show you that the brand Super Eagles is being, what's the word? It's being destroyed by those running the football in the country. They can do better. Don't get carried away by what Eguavoen is doing. That's not why I'm saying what I'm saying. But the truth here is this: when you continue to tell the people that you work with that you don't have confidence in your local coaches, it says a lot. And that's why, mumblings of, allegations that maybe there's a pact between foreign manager and the NFF is beginning to look like something that the fans and the media will continue to talk about. Because how best can you explain the fact that you have some of the finest coaches locally, some of them from the 94 generation. We've tried Sunday Olise. It was his job to lose. He lost it. We've tried Eguavoen. We brought him back. Stephen Keshi won the AFCON with Nigeria. I'm not saying this because I'm a Nigerian or because I feel comfortable with having the golden generation. When a coach like Finidi George, Emmanuel Amunike, they prove themselves, they earn their stripes outside of Nigeria. You need to even give them a chance. Let them get their leg to the door. You don't condemn all of them and using one brush to paint all of them and say, I don't trust in our local coach. Are you trying to take us back? How far did Rob took Nigeria? Rob's best moment as coach of Nigeria was the first 2 years. Anything after that, it was business center for him and those people who were working with him. And I'll mention names here. DW in France. This man, they call him William Davia. He had 11 players in the Super Eagles squad. NFF tend to look away. Why are you looking away when this man was bringing in players from anywhere? That's conflict of interest. Your agent managing 10, 11 players in the team, you get this agent you get to tell your players who are playing for the Super Eagles to change their agents in the middle of the contract with the former agent just because you want your interest protected. They tried it with some players who came in from England. They didn't succeed, and they kept those players out of the team. So this is the problem that you don't hear often all the time. And the NFF, are they privy to this information? No. Some of the things that could have made you fire Genetro became too comfortable after the 2018 time at the World Cup. He showed himself he wasn't good enough, but we continued to go with him. They had a chance to even let him go after the AFCON in 2019. Do you know that the contract that man signed during his second spell as coach of Nigeria, the NFF did not even have a look at the contract? A top official of the NFF signed a contract written by Genetro and those who worked with him to put in some of the clauses in that contract. That's why Mr. Amaju kept crying, we are going to pay him off, we are going to do this. There was absolutely nothing like that. How can you sign a contract? OVA is here. How can you sign a contract where you allow the man you are employing to dictate the terms and conditions of the contract? How dare you? So some of these things people don't hear outside and all of that. That was the beginning of the struggle with the Super Eagles, when some of these players can't even, they want to leave because they are not comfortable. Everyone say, oh, the coach, I don't want to piss him off. The best thing Nigeria did was getting rid of Genetro. Was it the right time? I don't agree, but it's worked a masterstroke right now. But he went and stayed on for too long doing those dirty businesses. We've heard so much about the 90s and the Super Eagles and, like mafias and all of that. Between 2018 and 2021, so many atrocities going on in the Super Eagles that many people don't ever speak about. So those are some of the things that you guys need to understand when you watch the team, the setup, the way they play, and the selections being made by the manager. You keep saying the same thing over and over. So that's why you get to hear some of these problems. But will the issue of unpaid salaries go away? I don't think so, not under this NFF watch.
I've just got a question. First of all, I'd say thank you for giving us your time. I just want to ask, in regards to some of the things that you've just hinted at, in regards to the things that were going on behind the scenes, is any journalist going to write about this? Because obviously it seems like there was something going on that we need to know about. And my second question is, we know where you've given quite a convincing argument on, the foreign coach versus local-based coach. Where do you fall on in terms of local players, given that the wealth of talent that we have that are, part of the diaspora? Where do you fall on that side?
Thank you very much, Bali. I don't know if any other journalist will write it. I've done the bit I could. I've revealed the issue concerning the contract that the manager signed. I did it for a South African publication, New Frame. I mean, you get threats and all of that. Some of the journalists, mind you need to respect the Nigerian journalists. Some of them are working under tough conditions. Some of them cannot step on toes in Nigeria. They can't write some of these things because, bro, you write it, who is going to publish it? Your editor is protecting himself. So what's going to happen? So we need to do more in terms of how protect journalists. Things you say, things you write can get you into trouble. So that's for that. Concerning the other question you ask now about, sorry, I think I missed that. Sorry, Malik, could you quickly remind me about the second question, please?
Sure, no worries. I was just asking because obviously I was on the other side in terms of foreign coaches, and you just convinced me that it'll be better to go for local coaches. But in terms of there's an argument that goes on with local based players and foreign players. That's always been constant. So I just wanted to ask where you fell on that.
Yeah. Sorry, it's not like I completely agree with the local coach or the foreign coach. I just think sometimes when you've tried something and it doesn't work, you need to try something else. So, but don't condemn your entire look. All of the players that I mentioned, the Emmanuel Amunike, Finidi George, Austin Eguavoen, they have the UEFA license to coach at the top level. Jobs are difficult for black coaches, like you all know, all over the world. I'm happy that despite being rejected twice by the Nigerian under-17s, those selecting the under-17 manager, Finidi George has gone to Enyimba to actually prove himself and go and do a job there. You need to get your hands soiled. You don't need to rotate the same player coaches over and over. So I think it should be given a chance, and I think also Emmanuel Amunike deserve, Austin Eguavoen deserve one. So that's why I align to. Concerning the locally based players, we first and foremost need to fix our league. The calendar is unbelievable. It's weird. The Nigerian season is unstable. 1 minute you are playing, the next minute you are on break. The players you registered, are you taking good care of the players? Do you have big matches on TV? That's how you get to scout some of your finest local talent. Stephen Keshi went to Nigeria and picked some players. That was because the local-based players were also good enough to qualify for the CHAN tournament. The CHAN tournament is the African Cup of Nations, the version for locally based, domestic-based players to play in. The Nigerian players the Nigerian team who couldn't even qualify for this. So how do you present your argument to them, to the selectors, and say pick from them when the league is not even stable? The manager, you said you signed the manager to monitor the league. He can't even go and watch the matches because you don't really follow up on getting him to watch those games. So I feel so sorry for the locally based players. They are struggling, suffering, and toiling day and night. No one believes in them, not even their own federation. So tell me, how can the coach even trust them? Because the coach wants results. He believes the best players are in Europe. He wouldn't want to come to the league. But there are some shining stars in the league. Look at Ndao, who is the centre back for Orlando Pirates. He was playing in the league a few months ago. He's in South Africa, Orlando Pirates. And before you know it, he's also become a foreign-based player. Sorry, some people here in the media center, maybe they are looking for food or whatever. I don't know why they are shouting. But anyways, so I think the most important thing is we need to even get the locally based players in good conditions and ensure that they are okay and the league is all right. Protect them by all costs. All of these top players that you see now, some of them started from Nigeria. And if you don't give them a good platform, locally, the coaches will just continue to ignore them. But I think there's so much that can be done before you start pointing the hands at the coaches.
Oluwashina Okeleji dropping gems as always. If you are not following Oluwashina Okeleji, you better hit the follow button on Twitter. This is Fabrizio Romano before Fabrizio Romano. Those ones are just in Europe. This one, if you want stories, they don't have to be going to do Fabrizio Romano on Twitter. This is Fabrizio Romano before Fabrizio Romano. So please, do yourself a favor, hit the follow button. Sean Oppie, you have your hand up. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah. All right. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah,
I can hear you, Sean. Yeah, thanks for the platform. Thanks, big fan of your work. So basically, I just want to say two things, and the second one is just to hear your thought process. So I know Eguavoen in the pre-match conference, he said his team is set up in a way that, different players can score. So not just one player is saddled with the responsibility of, scoring goals. So we can see that 4 goals, 4 different scorers, which is good. So I think my area of concern now is more of like when we face bigger, tougher oppositions that are well organized, especially in the attacking lineup. The game today showed there were a few occasions where there seems to be lack of communication between the central defenders and the goalkeeper, where there were crosses coming in and the goalie thought maybe the guy was going to clear it, or the defender thought the goalie was going to catch it. One way or the other, there seemed to be some kind of confusion in few occasions. So it got me a little bit worried. So what are your thoughts on that, especially when facing big opposition? There's been a lot of criticisms that, coming from different sections of the fans, that, Maduka needs to learn to command his defense line, shout, give instructions, tell them, and communicate and all that. So I just want to hear your thought process on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sean. That was a very good observation from your side. You actually saw the game. I think the problem that you saw in central defense today is the fact that you don't have two quick, fast centre backs in the game for Nigeria. Kenneth Omeru isn't the fastest. Either is Ekong himself. So it was difficult. It was difficult for the team to actually play out from the back. Yes, Maduka, you're right. He's a 20-year-old boy. He's just coming into the team. I think there's a need for Aloy Hago, who is the goalkeeping coach, to also speak to him to drop the tag of looking at everyone like his big brother. He needs to shout. When Vincent Nyama was playing the first time he came in goal, he didn't know whether to say Uncle JJ or whether to say Uncle Aribo or what when he began to play for Nigeria. So sometimes some of these things tend to get to us, but no one will listen to you when you concede a horrible goal or when you make a horrible mistake as a goalkeeper. It's a goalkeeper's nightmare. So I think you're right there. There needs to be communication, and this is something that I think one needs to bring up with the coaching crew. Remember, even Genethro was saying he preferred Maduka. There are those who believe in Francis Uzo, who they believe is a better shot stopper than Maduka. But Maduka has been able to convince everyone that at 20 is then the move to the Premier League. He's gone and do well in the Dutch Eredivisie. His story is just a remarkable story. 3 years ago, he was clapping for the Super Eagles as a fan. Now he's the number one. So I think there's a need to make him understand his responsibility as a goalkeeper. You need to speak up Otherwise, you'll be punished. And when you're punished, the fans don't want to hear that it was because Omeru was not marking the post. It's not because of Ekong, Balogun, or whoever. He needs to speak up and control his defense line. That's a very good sport, Sean. And I just think letting you know about these two centre backs and their pace is something that also has its own effect on the game.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yo, Sulaiman, I think except
Sly, you
Uge
there?
wants to say something. Nepa,
No,
don't
I
take
mean,
side.
it's out. At the time, I was just agreeing with you, really. And one of the things you mentioned about agents and, the coaches and having, certain agents, having certain players move to certain agents, otherwise they won't be in the team. It's funny, I used to hear stuff like that many years ago I don't know if it was under Bonfrey Joe or Westerhoff, but I heard this in the 90s. I know I was much younger when I was practically a kid then, and I can't believe that is something that is still happening at this time. Where politics and all these extras are coming into the equation before you can make it into a team. Back then, I used to hear, I don't know how true, but how players, maybe part of their fees, some of them were paying their way into the team. I heard it happened with one or two Nigerian coaches, but
I think the famous stories we heard, okay, just to quickly step in, we heard about Nduka Ugbade missing a chance to go and play in Europe because he refused to, listen to Westerhoff interest. Also, we heard about how Westerhoff influenced Kano's move, and Finidi George moved to Ajax of Amsterdam. You heard all of these stories. We understand that the reason why Amonike didn't play in the AFCON was because he didn't allow Westerhoff and the rest to manage him, but he was forced to play him in the final where he scored 2 goals against Zambia. All of these interesting stories that we've heard and all of that. Bonfrey Joe and Westerhoff, they are not best of friends. They don't get along. Bonfrey Joe continues to accuse Westerhoff that he was a double agent. While Westerhoff was saying Bonfrey Joe, went to Ibu the fight and then they exposed themselves. So Westerhoff was alleging that Bonfrey Joe betrayed him by taking the Nigerian job, even though he knew he was going out. But hey, Bonfrey went on to win the Olympic gold. So if I be your assistant and they give me a chance to come coach, now you they go, now me I know they go. You understand? So so it was that falling out that really revealed a lot of things. Sonny Olise to allege some things in his book, but he didn't really say it. You know how you want to talk something, now they take cool, they talk out. He said some things in his book too that really point to some of the things that you heard. We were all young then. I mean, we heard all of these stories, but it tells you that I think for Genetro in 2019, there's an audio that if I bring that audio out and I play it on Twitter, the Nigeria football probably bond for some of the things that was being discussed in that conversation. It tells you a lot about some of the things that goes on behind the scene, and it's sad because fans, brands, everyone, they are fully invested in the Super Eagles. But then you have some few jokers who think that they can always do this thing. It's sad. It's sad. I hope and pray that we can. Let's be prayers. I hope people can listen and change for the good of the game. Because if you truly care about your country, you should put professionalism first. I know Nigeria. Some people always say, now win. There are honest Nigerians who are living. I know a player who was asked for money and he told them to, let me use the right word. He told them to go where the sun doesn't shine or wherever. He just continued to tell them, like, I'm not going to pay you. Whether I'm good enough or not, don't bother. And there are some players who refuse to come and play and be part of the Super Eagles. There's one who scored, I won't mention his name, but if you're smart, you know him. He was top scorer in one of these top leagues in the last 2 seasons. And they asked him, and he's saying, bro, I will not pay anybody money to play for Super Eagles. And there's another one who's also playing in Turkey who was doing very well. And they said, look, the last thing I would do is to pay to come and play for the Super Eagles. Always remember, for every player that wants to play for the country, there are some who are not ready to pay any money to come and play. And that's what the national team has become. And that's what needs to be watched. I make allegations. People say, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? But I just don't talk. There are facts to back up these things. That's why I said if I play one audio, just one audio, you'll be amazed at some of the things that were being discussed by people that you've given an opportunity to manage a football team that has the passion of over 200 million people riding on it. And that's our football. That's the dark world of football for you.
But the crazy thing is, how is it that 3 decades later, I mean, we're talking about a different generation of players, coaches, staff. How is it that 3 decades later, those same things are still happening?
Culture.
It's thank you very much. Someone just mentioned that when you have a culture of corruption, you need to change the system. Do you know how difficult it is to fix Nigerian football? If Sulaiman comes, Ovie comes, and I come, I will say we want to run Nigerian football. My guy, in 50 years, we will get chance even contest any election. The rules that governs
They
Nigerian
won't
Football
let us.
Federation,
They will chase us away, eh?
the rules that governs the football, and some of the laws and some of the things that they've done to our football, it locks people like Omar Katuba, Sulaiman, Ovie, Shino, everyone out of the thing. I'm not saying I'm a journalist. I love my job, but I'm not saying I want to contest for the federation. But it's that difficult. An outsider cannot call me, so it's like a cartel, and being backed by other, the Alga at the top. I won't mention their name, but you know the people I'm talking about. Because listen to this: how can Nigeria Football Federation claim that they don't have money? Government will give them money. When government that gives you money is asking you, how did you spend my money? You will run to FIFA to go and say government intervention, and FIFA forbids government intervention. I always say this: let's declare the Nigerian Football Federation independent. Let them go and source for their own money. My brother, then go struggle, it go hard, because brands want to see your books. Brands want to see what you're doing with your books. But when you're collecting money, subvention from government all the time, you are not accountable for anything. You continue to run this business like a gangster business, like a cartel. So it's difficult to fix the problem in Nigerian football. Where do you want to start from? From journalists who cannot speak their mind because of the challenges that comes with speaking their mind? How do you come in and help a country where footballers are not paid their money that they need to be paid? The footballers are not paid money. They can see you living 5-star lifestyle, blowing grammar everywhere you go, yet they are unpaid, and you want them to go and die on the field. Do you know how many footballers whose career has been finished because they came to play for Nigeria? We only know of Samuel Okwara because he collapsed and died on the pitch. Do you know how many footballers who had injuries that the NFF never even bothered to check? Or that there should be a department that focuses on players' welfare. What are you? We are standing this contract, we are doing this. Are you looking out for all these things? No one is accountable to anything. So these cartels will continue to run the show, and you will continue to struggle. I'm just a journalist. I mean, that's all I can do and talk about it.
Oluwashina, just explain to them how what happened in Cameroon can never happen in Nigeria. When Samuel Eto'o put in a bid to run for president of the FA in practically October, November, and he's the president of the Federation of Fecafoot, that would never happen in Nigeria. Not possible. The way it's structured, never.
The way it's structured, you will continue to dream. That's why I said, okay, if it will take me 50 years, and by the time I'm 50, I'm already approaching 100. So what am I going to do? In 50 years, then I'm already. So when am I going to wait? So Samuel Eto'o's situation is a peculiar one, and Sulaiman, we need to quickly correct a notion here. It's not like ex-footballers too are sent in all of this. Austin Okocha was the Delta FA chairman for years. His members accused him of not attending meetings. So it's not like they automatically, because they play football, they can run football. Sheikh Modegbami has been contesting for, he always wants to contest NFL president. He only get one vote. He was the legend. He was the top scorer at the 1980 African Cup of Nations. Nobody cares about your record. What are you dropping? Do you know how many money exchange hands? The election that brought in the current president in 2014, do you know how tainted it was before Sepp Blatter cleared it for it to go on? We remember we used to have that man. I miss that man, to be honest. Mr. Giwa that comes in trouble every time. When Mr. Giwa comes, Mr. Giwa has paid his own money to the minister. He's asking that I've been promised this thing. Why are you giving it to the other man? It was so dirty.
Explain to them who Mr. Giwa is and what the process is and what happened and how Giwa sued the current FA, so people can understand the shoddiness and just the dirtiness that's going on.
No, I mean, basically, I think he got the backing of the former minister, thinking, he got his own thing. The election, do you know that even the election that brought in Amaju Pinnick, they prevented Shehu Diko, who is now the first vice president of the federation, from, spite or second, I don't even know what it is, from landing in Warri for that election. What happened? Nothing happened. The man conducting the election disappeared for a few hours. No one knew where he was. That election was so tainted. They want Giwa to, it's not like they want Giwa alleged to have won through is of any good, because some people who were part of his own Congress went to the other Congress. So Mr. Giwa felt he has paid so much money. I understand he paid about 500 million naira. I don't know, but that was what I heard. The fight the man was fighting is, even if I'm not going to be the president of the federation as you promised me, kindly return my money. But you know those kind of money don't enter voicemail. You pay, nothing they happen. You know pay, they're not going to vote for you. So he paid, and eventually they banned him. In fact, they double banned him. The FIFA banned him, they too banned him, and all that. So those are the kind of things that you'll continue to see. People who want to take the offices by force, by crook, or by any means necessary. And those who are desperate to stay in power, they will do whatever is within their power to stay in charge of Nigerian football. So I'm sorry, I'm afraid, if you are waiting for a change, if you are hoping for a change, bro, you need to smell the coffee. Change isn't coming. The constitution that governs the federation prevents people like anyone who has interest to just jump in. By the time they ask you for 5 things, the first one you can't even find. The next thing you just give up and you just say you're not doing it again, because they're asking you to be part of the football. You must have been part of football for how many years? Maybe 5 years or 10 years. You must have done this, you must have done that. So meaning if Sulaiman wants to contest in 2030, he needs to start now by registering himself and being a FA member of a particular, you need to belong to one. It's also messy, and it's structured in such a way that people with genuine interest who want to change the face of Nigerian football will not get it. I'm sorry we are talking about this on a day we should be celebrating, but those are some of the things that goes on behind the scene. When players are crying and complaining, that's what they go through. When officials are complaining about unpaid salary, that's some of the things they go through. And when journalists are out there trying to do their own job, they are scared. They're afraid of doing the job that they do, because once you write about anything, you're either cancelled or you're threatened, or your boss is even the one doing the threatening. So it's a difficult and complex situation to operate in Nigeria. The Super Eagles is a big brand. They are winning now, fans are happy. Let them lose again. That's when you will hear the same Eguavoen you people are praising now. Some people will say he's a useless coach. Who is he? Blah blah blah. The same Simon Moses, that one, a useless player. That one, that's just how we are in Nigeria. But then again, if you don't fix the foundation, you will continue to have the same problem over and over again.
Dr. Chidi, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, I was going to say that I think we've gone way too into the weeds. I actually saw Leon Balogun here for a minute, and he was doing 100% to everything that Oluwashina was saying. So I thought that was interesting.
Leon knows what's going on.
Yeah, Leon was here. He was
If there's
here.
one player that speaks up consistently, it's Leon.
I know, but I'm just thinking that we've gone way too into the weight. Can we kind of come back to the game today? Because you're making me sad again.
You don't have to be sad. It's the reality of our football. But I just wanted to mention something that when Shina was talking about players paying and what have not. Recently, this happened recently. This is before the old coach was let go. An agent reached out to someone that I knew about having a player sign with him, and the player told him specifically that if I sign with you, I will never get invited back to the national team again, because there's a cartel of agents that run the national team under parole. Correct?
Well, I don't know who this player is. I know what I know.
I won't mention the player's name.
Exactly. I know what I know. And the same thing, I brought it up because Ovie was mentioning, I could see Ovie was getting emotional and passionate about the Super Eagles. Like I said, we shouldn't dwell on this negativity. It happens. Is he still there? I don't know. Because once that coach is let go, that same agent that we are talking about cannot even come here and talk. Let me bring you an interesting scenario. On our way to the World Cup in 2018, Mikel Obi is still alive. Elderson Echebile is still alive. This particular agent was chased out of the Super Eagles camp in Austria, where they were camping. I was the only journalist that was traveling with a team from Nigeria to London when we played England, and then to Austria, where we played against Serbia, I think, or one of these countries, And Mikel
Czech Republic.
Yeah, thank you very much. Mikel practically chased this guy out. He walked up to him and told him, I understand you're the one causing problems within our camp. Because at that time, they brought in a left back who is not part of the team now. That left back, they packaged him and took him and signed him. And, Elderson being Elderson felt like his sport was on fire. His sport was going away. I want to believe he was the one that probably ensured that Mikel got an opportunity to see the agents in particular. This agent was kicked out of the Super Eagles camp that night. He flew out of the camp because Mikel stood his ground and said, "You will not cause you cannot destabilize our team under my watch." And that's how the agent was kicked out. So these things happen.
So let's bring it back to a little bit of the Super Eagles of today. We won 3-1 convincingly. We've gone ahead and set the bar again at the AFCON. Omar Katuba, a Nigerian journalist based out of Germany, just joined us. Omar, I'm of the opinion that you are in Garua, right? You're not in Yaoundé. Omar, are you there?
Okay, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I'm here.
I said, are you in Garua? You're not in Yaoundé, right?
Yes, I am in Garua. I'm sitting very close to Shina right now.
Okay, so you guys are practically in the same room.
Absolutely.
What's been your impression of the Super Eagles so far going into the AFCON? Paro getting fired. Well, Paro not knowing if he was going to get fired, then getting fired, then the whole list issue, and then the team is playing very well now. What's your impression so far?
I am blown away. I am surprised, and I like the surprise. It's a pleasant surprise because personally, I wasn't expecting to see them play this good. Going by the fact that Raw was fired in the middle of, just close to the tournament. Austin Eguavoen had not so much time to really, make his presence felt. And suddenly we see that his presence has been felt. And I asked him after the first.
Omar, are you there?
Hello? What about now? Can you hear me
Go
now?
ahead, Omar. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, a call is disturbing Omar. A call was disturbing us. Maybe I should give him my phone.
That's fine. Leon Balogun is back in the space with us. I'm going to try to see if I can send him a request, if he could just come up and just give his impression of the Super Eagles. Not politics, just the game, the team that he should have been a part of. Let's just have him come up and talk for a little bit if he can. Leon. Timitai, you have your hand up. Go ahead and speak.
Thank you, Suleiman. Am I allowed to talk about the politics, or we should just stick to the?
Sure. Go ahead. You'll be the last person to talk about it, but go ahead.
Oluwaseun, I wanted to ask you a question, and maybe Uma, about the legality of the NFF. There's always been the debacle about the NFF not being a legal body, and it not being the body that should be able to run football in Nigeria. What is the actual position? I've always wanted to know what the actual position is from the statute. I know FIFA obviously recognizes the NFF, but people are saying that is probably some members of the executive committee just trying to play politics with FIFA, and actually the NFF as we know it shouldn't be the way it is, and the level of checks and balances in the NFF isn't as what it's supposed to be under the law. Do you have any idea of what the NFF is actually meant to be like?
Thank you very much. I think under the law of Nigeria, we understand that NFF does not exist. Only NFA exists. The money the government pay to the NFF, they use the NFA because that's what's registered. That's what they know. Everyone only bring this up when it's politics, when it's time for politics. It's unfortunate. We can't let these people take the shine of what the Super Eagles are doing today. They are irrelevant. They are not important. Our FA president is the only one that is more popular than our captain. That tells you the story because he likes to talk. For me, we don't need to pay them. I've mentioned. I think I've answered your question. But please, let's continue to celebrate the amazing performance of the team. A coach who is an interim manager who is doing an amazing job. All the players who have sacrificed so much to play for Nigeria. Kudos to some people in the federation who have continued to do their job, even though the man that's supposed to lead them continues to talk them into trouble. But of course, you can't take anything away. Nigeria are considered the favorites now in this tournament. Everyone is saying Nigeria and Cameroon for final. Sulaiman, do you know why people are saying that? Everyone says what Nigeria did in 2000 in Lagos by winning AFCON. Nigeria needs to do that in Yaoundé and win the AFCON on Cameroonian soil. Everyone is saying that's the thing. But Eguavoen says he doesn't want to talk about that. He doesn't want to focus on that. He wants to focus on one game at a time. and that's how it is. It's sad that Cameroon won their first 3 or 4 AFCON at the expense of Nigeria. 84, 88, 2000. So that's 3 actually. So they won against Nigeria in the final. Nigeria, they've never won important games involving them and Cameroon. So I think this is if they keep winning, Nigeria keep winning, we might get to see the 2 teams in the final. But we are the ones looking ahead. The fans are the ones looking ahead. Eguavoen is taking it one step at a time.
As it should, really, as it should. Because I feel like if any manager gets carried away now, then he's signing his own death wish, So, but yeah, we fans.
It'll be good to get. It'd be good to get Leon to talk about how the team is playing. I mean, him not being here. If you can just drop in a word here, Leon, we are listening to you. It'd be good to get your opinion. I know you desperately want to be part of this team, so we would like to hear from you, Leon. The floor is yours. Omadiren. Leon, are you there? You can. You have the floor now, Leon.
You have to start your speaker. So unmute your speaker. Maybe you're talking and the speaker is on.
Yeah, we can't hear you. You might be. Yeah.
Leon, can you check your speaker, please? I think he's trying to say something. Maybe I don't know. We'll try to. I'm sure. Leon, are you there? You need to check your speaker. Ovio, you can take over.
Yeah, I saw a thing going like he was about to speak, but I can't tell if he's actually aware or if he's trying to talk.
No, I think he's trying to talk. Leon is not as old as me. I'm the one. He's always yapping me that I can't control these techie things. And he's the one now that is on fire now. I can see sound like he's coming.
Exactly. I see that.
Even Garua network is better than Glasgow network. You see?
Oh.
Leon, you may want to check your connection. Maybe the speaker or maybe the mic or something.
Hello.
Finally. Are you there, Leon?
Do I have?
Yes, you have the floor now. How do you feel about the Super Eagles?
One question: do I have to press this mic the whole time as I'm speaking?
No. You leave it.
You could just talk on your phone like regularly. You don't have to.
I tried to do that, so I just press.
This is the place you can't bully me, Leon. You have to leave the mic and talk.
But can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. I just didn't know that I'm free or ready to speak. So, can you ask me a question again? First of all, you said we never won a game of importance against Cameroon. That's not true, my friend.
I mean,
don't forget the World Cup qualifiers,
please.
They were very important.
No.
Okay.
No,
then fair enough.
I'm sorry. I was talking
I
about
retreat.
You better retreat or I'll come brush you there. Continue, Leon. Continue. Sorry.
No, repeat your question, please.
Yeah, so basically, we're saying how excited are you about the performance of the team? Are you surprised about the way they're playing? And how do you feel missing out on this tournament itself?
So let me start with the latter. So obviously, it's hard. It's really hard because, I've been involved in pretty much all or most of the games that paved the way for us to be in the final stage of the AFCON, and now I'm just here sitting on the couch. It's painful. I think that's relatable. That's understandable. But regardless, I cheer for the boys. I wish them well. I hope they bring it home. And I'm really pleased, because I'm not in touch with them all the time. I follow on social media what's going on, what they post and all that stuff. They all seem to be quite relaxed. And I think this comes down to the fact that there has been so much noise. I don't know if you've seen my tweet just before the first game against Egypt. I said there has been a lot of noise. Loads of things have been said. And now it's just time to show. And I feel like the coach has just giving them the freedom to just express themselves, to just play, obviously with a little bit of his tactical finesse. But I feel like he pretty much had an idea, and you must give him loads of credit as well, because how long did he work with the full squad? 10 days maximum? 14 maybe? So that's something that I think you really have to give him compliments for that, because it's not easy. Players arriving late with COVID issues, injury struggles, injury scares. that's something that is not easy. And I think you can see that they're playing free-minded kind of. Like if I look at Simon Moses, I'm really, really impressed because I've been playing with him for 6 or 7 years now, and I've always seen his ability, but you would always wonder, okay, he needs more of an end product, and now you see him performing the way he did today and the last match. He was one of the contestants or contenders for me for man of the match last game already. I think he's won it today. Um, I'm happy to see Kenneth even. The way he plays, he looks so reassured. He has so much confidence on the ball. He's very commanding in his passing. Going forward, I see Will Ekong, who's been under loads of scrutiny, who's just really commanding in the defense, accepting his role as a leader back there. I see Ndidi, who, in my opinion, gives Joe the freedom to be the more offensive part and is happy to just do more of the dirty work like he does in Leicester loads. But it gives us such an amazing balance. And then Kelechi, he's been on fire all season, last season already. He just does what he does, Senior Man Kels. I'm happy to see Awoni to do his thing. I think he will probably bless us some more. Today he was a bit lucky when he scored, but it's just like you need an opener, So hopefully that was what made the not kind of go loose. I'm just really happy to see the boys. And listen, I think probably the game today and the game against Guinea-Bissau before today, I would have called them the most difficult games in that group out of those 3 group stage games, simply because with everything that has been going on before the tournament, Egypt would have been the clear favorite, and everybody would have been, Nigeria's distracted. They don't have their act together. They don't even have a coach. All these kind of things, all that noise. But in all fairness, I feel like Egypt did not really come to the party on Tuesday. I don't feel they challenged us, but even then, I don't want to discredit the boys. They played really mature. I felt like there was a really disciplined, really mature performance. Like you would sometimes see in Champions League football or in like on a very high European level where just 2 top teams neutralize each other most parts of the game. And I felt like we've done that. And even though Egypt did not come with too much of a threat, we just held them at bay all the time. We dominated them. So therefore, I actually felt the game was quite hard to watch. It was a bit boring, apart from the last 15, 20 minutes. And today, again, now we've won it. So Guinea-Bissau, the game should actually be, not saying we can just take the foot off the gas, but you can go into that game almost maybe resting 1 or 2 players for them to save some legs, maybe cut down their minutes or maybe leave someone on the bench, because now you're guaranteed to go through already. But again, I just tweeted 2 out of 7. I hope we're going to win all the games from going into the last of 16 into the round of 16. We will have to win every game if we want to win the cup. So we might as well start that run and not stop it for that last group stage game. But I think we've been doing really, 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 really well so far. And I hope we get to see some more enjoyable football.
Leon, quick one. We saw your boy Aribo. Sorry, Mimi. We saw your boy Aribo. You've always talked about the talent this boy has.
Mm-hmm.
Is it true that we haven't really seen anything yet of Joe Aribo?
Well, we haven't seen anything yet. I think that would not be the right thing to say, because if you look at the way Nigerians react to his performances today and also the against Egypt, I think we would probably it would not be fair towards the boy, but he's not playing in his best position. That's what I would say. And the further he is up, the higher he is up the park, if he plays as an 8 or as a number 10, the more of his real ability when it comes to creating chances and creating moments you will see. But I'm really happy. As I said, Ndidi and him, in that system that Eguavoen plays, they really have found a good balance. And I don't know whether it's to those 2 speaking about it or to the coach giving them the clear instructions, but whatever is the reason for it, it works perfectly fine. With Ndidi being more of the defensive midfield marshal, if you like to say so. controlling things, breaking up the play, and giving Joe a bit more freedom then to work offensively. Because also the game, the way Joe plays normally attacking it takes loads of energy. So with Ndidi in his back covering for him, it just allows him to to focus a bit more on the attacking part of the game and just bless us with his creativity and with his ability in taking on players, creating moments.
I
Leon,
think Mimi
hello.
has a question. Okay,
Yeah,
Mimi, go ahead.
thank you. I saw my brothers Leon Balogu and Oluwashina, so I'm like, I have to speak on this one. It's really great to have you guys. Leon, it's great to listen to you speak. I echo everything that you pretty much said. Kenneth Omeruo was practically sidelined, let's be honest, for quite a long time. And it's great to see him back again and the quality that he has and experience and heart that he's given to Nigeria for such a long time. So to see him centered at the back with William is really good to see. And William as well, I feel this would really help him. Great performances that he put at the back today with clearances and as well in the first game. And I know he's had a very difficult few weeks, as we know, with his club. So I hope this would help for him to bounce back. And as well for Moses Simon, and I think he alluded to it. He's playing freely at the moment, which he didn't get to do, as I'm sure you kind of said to it previously on the Gernot Roar. So it's great to see that the quality people can see that he can bring, assisting and scoring. Shino, you've been the one saying for a lot of time when people were criticizing him that he's got that talent. He's just not being utilized correctly. If I'm correct, you said that. And as well, I agree with Leon. I think for Guinea-Bissau, it would be great to see other players come in and get a bit more like minutes and just mix it up a little bit to give other players an opportunity to play. Leon, I just want to ask, let's be honest, a lot of people were criticizing the team coming in to the tournament. As you know, the big name players, Osimhen missing, Igalo, Emmanuel Dennis, etc. You yourself weren't able to make it. Do you feel the fact that Nigeria have come in as people not expecting to be one of the favorites? Now everybody's saying it, but let's be honest, coming into the tournament, they weren't. Do you think that helped to take the pressure off of the team? And as we're seeing, they're enjoying playing their football. Leon?
Leon, you having mic issues?
I don't even hear anything. I just heard that Mimi has a question, so I was just being silent.
So the question to you is, as I was trying to ask, I don't know if you can hear me. Nigeria were not seen as one of the favorites. Now everybody's saying Nigeria is one of the favorites, but let's be honest, they weren't coming into the tournament because of missing key players. And as well as we know, Gernot Rohr was just replaced just last month.
So if anyone is speaking to me right now, I cannot hear that person.
Okay.
Oh, you can't hear Mimi?
No, I can't hear. That's what I just tried to say. I don't hear anything. I was just silent because I was waiting for her to ask the question, but I don't hear.
Okay, so Mimi, Leon, Mimi is asking basically that Nigeria came into the tournament as we weren't one of the favorites, right? Based on all the obvious things that have been stated in the past, missing players and Gernot Rohr's issue. So she's saying that is that basically to our benefit, right? Mimi, that's what you're asking, right?
Yeah, because we can see they're playing, I feel, not with the pressure that we saw
Nigeria
play, for example.
First of all, hi Mimi. I'm sorry I cannot hear you, but well, another time then. I would say so. Yeah, I think it's a benefit because first of all, I would say Nigeria should always be looked at one of the favorites of this tournament, even if the stakes don't if the stakes are not perfect. But Nigeria is just still one of the top African football nations, so actually we should always be on that list. But with everything going on before the tournament, I do understand why people probably feel like, okay, they first need to sort out their own house and everything. But I think it takes pressure off the players because as much as we're just on the pitch and training and playing, we still hear all that noise. We can feel the noise, and it doesn't necessarily affect us directly, but you still kind of you sense it. You get a feeling for the situation, and it's pretty much there's no expectation, apart, at least not from people outside of Nigeria, which takes off a bit of the load on our shoulders. But there's always those 200 million coaches in Nigeria that expect, even if they know or even if they feel like we are not in the best condition at the moment. So that's what I tried to say before. The boys, they just play, and I feel like the coach has given them the freedom to just express themselves and told them, listen, we know what we are about. We know we want to win that cup. If everybody else has said already, no, we're not in the mix for winning it. There's other teams. Let them have it, because they won't have us on their radar. That's fine. So I would definitely agree if you say that's a benefit for us, because now teams are looking at us saying, oh my God, because also the games so far haven't been really rich in goals. So we have scored 4 and 2. I think Cameroon has scored quite a few, but then again, Cameroon is one of the teams that I would also always consider a favorite. But probably now they're good looking at Nigeria in a way as, oh, surprisingly, they turned up to the party, and not just like as a silent bystander. They're actually here to make some noise, and I'm happy that we could make some noise so far, and I hope we continue to do so.
Hello, Leon. Sorry, please. Can I ask a question about the fact that you are a defender, and I know how important it is for defenders to keep clean sheet. In my opinion, I thought the penalty today was non-existent and very scandalous. What do you make of that, and what does it do for for the defenders and the
Just to
goalkeepers
let you
going
know, I don't
forward?
hear anything else again.
Oh wow! I
Oh
I
my
can
God.
I can hear Ogaga. I can hear the guy asking, and I can hear you. And that is surprising that you can't hear the other speakers.
I see under not just under
Mm-hmm.
Sheena, under Timmy Tayo, Sean, Dr. Chudi, I see like a muted microphone next to them.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
but
that's
Ogaga
because
is
we can
speaking.
hear you.
Okay,
We
now
can hear
Ogaga
you.
is
I can hear
speaking.
you now as well, Sheena.
Okay,
But
Leon, can you
who's
hear me now?
Ogaga? I cannot hear him. I don't know why.
Wow.
Maybe
So
because
that's Ogaga and Mimi.
maybe because I'm just what you call it, like a listener as well. I don't know.
No, you're a
Obie,
No,
speaker.
he's
Obie,
okay. Let me
okay,
ask you
please.
what Ogaga
Can
is
you?
asking. So
Perfect.
Ogaga is asking if the goal conceded today, like he felt it was a soft penalty that Ola conceded, but he's also saying that as a defender, what does that do to your confidence when you don't keep a clean sheet? I think that's basically what he asked.
I mean, it's always how do you concede a goal? I feel like I watched the replay and I was thinking to myself, what did just happen here? Because I mean, yes, to be honest, I'm not going to throw Ola under the bus. That's my boy, but I felt like probably he just was a bit of lazy defending because he just grabbed his shirt. The way the guy goes down then looked a bit easy, but I mean, with VAR and everything nowadays, you probably need to protect yourself from these sort of moments. But I don't think that it will crush Ola's confidence. First of all, he's too chilled, too composed for that. And secondly, we still won the game 3-1 comfortably. So the boys it's like a little spot, on a nice white shirt. But they're not going to, I think Ola, especially, he will not lose sleep over this, and neither will the team.
Okay, Timitayo, you want to? I see your hand up. Do you want to ask a question?
Hello, Leon. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Oh, good.
Finally.
I want to ask you a question in light of what happened in 2019 AFCON. You guys won your first 2 games, and then we obviously know what happened against Madagascar. So, with that experience going into this AFCON, what would be your advice, to your teammates, so to speak, in order not to lose steam, as the competition continues?
Pretty much the same that we also had before the game in Madagascar, not to lose focus. And this is the thing. Sometimes the way things look to the outside or appear to the outside is not always what it's like. I remember on that day, for example, that the energy was a little bit low, and everything. The songs we were singing, everything was a little bit low. And it might have been subconsciously, but we were just not on it on that day. Like, we lost the game 2-0. Now you could say this comes down to the mistake I made or the other goal we conceded, but at the same time, I don't think we created much in that game. So the advice I would give them is just prepare well, do your recovery, eat well, sleep well, make sure you're sharp, make sure you're 100%, and then go again. And you hear most of the boys and even the coach, they always say we take it game by game. And I think with that kind of attitude, I think that's the best way to go, because then you don't really. Oh wow, what a goal! Sorry, Egypt just conceded an absolute stunner.
They conceded. Wow.
Bro,
Sorry.
what a goal that was as well. Wow. I even lost I forgot what I wanted to say. No, but the boys, yeah, they're looking at it from game to game. And I think that's what they should do, really. And then look at it like, okay, you know, 1 out of 7 we've won, 2 out of 7 we've won. Now we have to win the 3rd out of 7, and kind of prepare that run that we want to go on in order to be there in the final and win that final as well.
All right. Does anybody else have a question for Leon?
Yes. I have a question for Leon. Hi,
Okay.
Leon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this, I mean, hey, this is just, I was just wondering. So, you being an insider, right? What do you think was the fundamental difference between the Nigerian team that won Algeria in Uyo 3-1, and the team that lost to Algeria in the AFCON 2019? What do you think was the major delta? Thank you.
Paul, that's a good question, a tough one. Let me think. It's hard to say, really, you know, because it can be multiple things. For example, that game in 2016, I think it was against Algeria, where we've won 3-1. We went into that game fresh, you know. The other game was in a tournament. I would probably bring it down or break it down to form, really. Algeria was really strong throughout that whole tournament. They've been really, really strong. Their players as well. I remember playing Maris at the time when we beat them 3-1, and Slimani. And without any disrespect to the players, but I felt they were just not as present as they have been in that game then 3 years later. So I would pretty much break it down to that, because, again, you always say on the day, Messi can play against every team in the world alone. And then in that case, on the day, Algeria, they can beat loads of teams as well, loads of African teams. And I think they just had a better day than we did. In the end, it was close. You know, we lost it when 89th minute because of a free kick. So it was close, kind of, but they were the better team. So you probably just have to give it to them. That happens. That's football.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, Dr. Chudi, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Leon, can you hear Dr.
Yes.
Chudi?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So one thing, I want to say something right quick. I want to commend you for something. I remember the game against the Central African Republic.
Yeah.
When you made a mistake in Lagos and you considered a goal, and then in the next game, I've never seen you play that well. I thought you were the best player on the pitch, and I thought it showed a lot of character to bounce back from that mistake. And I mentioned this before in a different space. I said that game changed my opinion of you as a player, because I think it's not how what happens, it's how you bounce back from anything that happens. So I want to commend you for that, because I think that was awesome.
Thank you.
The question I wanted to ask was, I'm looking forward to the World Cup qualifiers. The next one, we obviously don't know our next opponent.
It's Congo, I think. DR Congo, I read the other day.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't aware of that. Okay. So are you going to be ready for the last game, to see what's going to happen? So are you going to be ready to go to that game? I know you are still injured, but I'm looking forward. So are you going to be ready for that?
I'm quite confident that I will be. I have started to train already again. And obviously until March, there's still some time. So I'm quite confident that I will be in that game, that I will be involved. If I'm playing, that's then not in my control so much. There's a coach that has to decide, because, as I said, no, I didn't say it. Did I say it here? I did say it here, yes. I think Kenneth so far is really playing outstanding. So let's see what happens. But I'm pretty confident that I will be there for that game. Yes, I will. I want to be there. That's for sure.
By the way, they disallowed the Guinea-Bissau goal.
Yeah, which is an absolute joke.
Yeah,
It's
that
a
doesn't
joke.
make sense. That was a really good goal.
That was a poor call by the ref, but again.
But yeah, so based on that, I mean, I know you saw the Tunisia-Mali game, right, where that referee stopped the game in the 85th minute and then stopped it again in the 89th minute.
I don't like that ref.
Oh, you generally don't like him even prior to that game?
I had my share with him before on the pitch. I remember him as being very arrogant. And I have a teammate who's from Zambia, just like him, and he said, "Yeah, he's our best referee." But he also said, I remember he was very arrogant when he was doing our game, and then my teammate said, "Yes, that's true, he is." But yeah, I mean, that situation. I don't know what you were going to say, but I think he's in a bit of trouble now. Huh?
Absolutely. But what would you say about the officiating in general in this competition so far?
To be very honest, I haven't seen all the games. There's always some calls where I'm like, oh my God, what was this? And it could be very bad. Even in games that I've played so far, international games. But I think it's definitely all right. I mean, you should not pick out that one very, very bad a moment and then judge based on that, because some journalists have brought it forward that I think it happened in La Liga as well. So, yeah, these things they shouldn't happen. They do happen. We had a very controversial game in a very big game in Germany a few weeks ago. It was Bayern Munich against Dortmund, where they now said the ref is not going to do any games in the future. I'm not sure if in general or just when these teams clash. But, yeah, I think it's all right so far. What I've just been wondering about is they use the VAR even for corners sometimes and like other situations. That was a bit funny to me. I've seen it today again, I think in our game, where I was like, did they seriously call the VAR for that? But so be it. We just manage, and then we draw a line after the tournament, and then we see where we can improve. That's my take.
Yeah, and also just following up on that, I know you are a defender, right? So we've seen a lot of crazy, as Suleiman would say, agricultural tackles, right? That's what people call them. Really, really bad ones. Right in the first minute of that Cameroon game, I don't know if you saw that.
I haven't seen that one actually. No, I haven't.
Oh, it was really bad. That was supposed to be a red card, right? I think it was within the first 5 minutes, right? As a defender, you probably might be a bit more defensive, no pun intended. But do you think our refs are way too lenient in Africa with some of these tackles? Because we know they won't fly in Europe.
Can you say it again? Just the last bit? Do I see what?
Do you think our referees, the referees in Africa, are way too lenient, when it comes to punishing some of these tackles? Because we know many of these tackles won't fly in Europe, right? Players will be carded easily. But in Africa, they seem to get away with just kicking themselves. You see, I don't know if you understand my question here. The football is way more physical in Africa, and I feel like players are not protected enough, so you don't see as much flair football as you get, because chances are that guy will get kicked and the ref will blow the whistle. Do you think that is an issue?
Well, if it becomes too much, then yes. As I said, I haven't seen enough games to actually make a call on that. But I think African football, even now, wherever I played, whether it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and even now, one of the first things when you start to speak about African football is they talk about the tackles, how the slide tackles, they're actually more like fly tackles, how they kind of come flying in knee high or hip high. So it's kind of a bit of a joke people sometimes do because of the past. I personally don't feel it's that bad anymore, but obviously the ref, especially when it comes to these kind of tackles, he has a job to protect players. And like if it becomes that reckless, you just need to. There's guidelines. They're not different in Africa than they are in Europe, So the question is, maybe you need to school the referees a bit more in order to make sure that the players are protected and that the ones doing those tackles are punished accordingly. So yeah, maybe it just needs more schooling for the refs to recognize the tackle. It shouldn't be hard, to be very honest. But I mean, they have the VAR as well, so at least the ones who check the monitors, they should intervene. Whether, rather than for a corner kick or something. I think that's much more important because without the players, if they keep kicking players out recklessly, then you might as well just cancel the tournament because they're all going to end up in hospitals or just on a bench with the physios.
True that. All right, so I think we've had the space almost 3 hours. It got a lot sweeter within the last 45 minutes, I would say. But we'll take maybe 2 more questions. Temitayo, I see your hand up. Do you want to ask something? And if there's anybody else, just raise your hand and then we'll call it a day.
Final question. I just wanted to clarify something with Leon. Do you have a favorite place? Do you have a favorite stadium in playing in Nigeria? Do you prefer Uyo, Lagos?
Uyo, all day, every day. From the ones that I've played in, Uyo.
Okay,
100%.
I know, and I've heard the NFF say sometimes that the players like going around, they want to experience different parts of Nigeria and stuff.
Well, yeah, what I would advise is ask the players.
Yeah, thank you.
Because I'm just going to try to bite my tongue here, but I know for a fact that most of the players that I've played with, everybody loved Uyo for the atmosphere. First and foremost, for the quality of the pitch. Because I think that has been the only pitch I've played on, at least in Nigeria, that actually had football grass. That also accounts for the training pitch, because we actually did not train in the stadium apart from match day, from one day before the match day. So definitely, the hospitality was amazing. Everything was really nice. The people are super nice. Like I always loved it. I heard the pitch in Abuja now in the National Stadium. Some of the boys mentioned is not too bad. But then when it comes to stadiums, I think right now what we're seeing in Cameroon is kind of what I've seen on social media, what the boys have been telling me, that the pitches in the stadiums and the pitches that they train on, they all are really, really good. So maybe that is something for our administration to take away and maybe, speak to Cameroon if they don't keep it to themselves, how we actually can accomplish that, because that's one of the basic tools we need. And we, as Nigeria, we want to play football. We want to play attractive football. So,
So here it is. Thank you.
Hello, Leon. Can you hear me now?
Leon, can you hear Ogaga yet?
No. I don't think so.
Leon? Okay, Ogaga, ask your question. I will transcribe.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Now the question is still, as a defender, right? What does he think about the fact that most of the AFCON games have been low scoring? Is it a good thing for him, or the attacking needs to be better at AFCON? Just ask him that.
Okay, his question is, as a defender, what do you think about the fact that most of the AFCON games have been low scoring? Is that a good thing from a defender's perspective, or I mean, what would you say in general?
Well, again, I have to say I did not watch too many games, but it's 2 options. One could be very good defending, which is always nice for a defender. The other option could be that maybe the attacking players or the teams in general don't really have an idea of, not have an idea, but they are not creating enough. But then again, I haven't seen enough games to actually have a take on it. I feel like with Nigeria, they have done their job, especially today. I think it was quite, even Sudan, I felt they were quite brave. I think they had a good approach to the game. I think they challenged us more than Egypt defensively. But yeah, I actually look at it in a way where I'm saying, you know what, all those critics for Nigeria, check out the other teams. Check Senegal, check Morocco, check Egypt. They've just won their game. I don't know how, because they got a goal disallowed, Guinea-Bissau. But I cannot really give you like a definite answer for that question. I was a bit surprised with some of the matches, even Algeria the other day. But I just see the benefit that this hopefully is for us going forward in the tournament. And obviously, as for Nigeria, it's just amazing defending, obviously, because Kenneth, Will, Zaidu, and Ola, and then the two boys in front of them, they're doing an amazing job. So, but that's just what Nigerians do, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You're right, and we appreciate you, man. Like, this was unexpected, and thanks for coming in, Leon. And yeah, this space has been ongoing for almost 3 hours now. So I think, yeah, we would have to put a lid on it. We'll be back here again right before the next game. I think the next game is on Wednesday against Guinea-Bissau. By the way, the Egypt-Guinea-Bissau game is over. Egypt won. So I don't think we'll be resting players that quickly. But yeah, so we have a game on Wednesday, and it's at 8 p.m. We'll be here from 6:30 for pre-game, and then right after the game, we'll also be here. So it's not just against spaces. By the way, one more question before we go. Leon, right now we're at 6 points. Egypt at 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
If you were the coach, would you still make changes at this point, seeing that we
Sorry,
probably
3
still
point,
need
3 point. Egypt, 3 point, not.
there are 3. So we're okay. Well, in any case, yeah, Egypt are at 3 points. We're at 6. Yeah. So would you? Well, we really just need a draw, right, to top the group.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you do if you were the coach? Would you ring in changes, seeing that we only need a draw, or is there a risk that we could still come second if we lose to Guinea-Bissau?
I would say you could do changes, definitely. I don't think there's anything wrong with changes. It's just a matter of how you present it. If you kind of make it about, you know what, now we're just gonna rest and relax. No, that's not the right way. You leave the core of the team. You could, for example, Simon Moses. I think he's had 2 very good games, 2 very strong games. But the way he plays, his application is always very, very high. So you might give him a rest, Or there's another way of maybe starting the same team, but look, after 45 minutes, if the game goes accordingly, that you maybe take someone off after 45 or after 60, just to save some energy, because those games come thick and fast in these tournaments. You play every 3 or every 4 days. So recovery is really important. So if you can afford actually to rest players, then you should always do that. Always. It's just a matter of what is the best way, and also how do you approach the next game. There's a game. He said there's a different game plan for every match. So maybe the way Guinea-Bissau allows them already to say, you know what, I'm going to rest this player because we're going to play maybe less attacking. Maybe we're going to let them have the ball more. Maybe there's so many little tweaks and angles that you can look at this. So I would welcome it if he does maybe 1 or 2 changes just to save some energy. But at the same time, we have to give credit to our bench because there's Alex Iwobi only came on for the first time today. I don't think he would actually weaken the team. Ejuki would not make the team weaker neither, So those are really, really good and strong options we have on the bench. And I think they would still give Guinea-Bissau plenty wahala.
Fair enough. I'm seeing one more hand. Is it a short question, speaker? Yarunangulu.
Yo, good evening.
I
I
don't
just
hear it. That's for sure.
It's not a question actually. I just want to appreciate the effort of the boys. They are doing well. I guess to me now, I know the next stage is going to be tougher. I want them to still use that energy they're using because we Nigerians we normally take things, at least at times we take things for granted. If they should use this energy in the next stage, I believe the next stage is knockout stage before they proceed. But I see potentials in those players, and I believe to me, I know they'll take this cup is for Nigeria. It's time for us to make history too. So I want the boys to buckle up. They should work more harder. Like the defense are good, everything is good, but they should work harder. And I wish I wish everyone, each and every one of us here, good luck in life and everything too. and I want them to continue to make us proud. That's all,
Okay.
Lord.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Leon, Mimi, Shino, Gaga, everybody, Sly. Thanks so much, guys. Let's do this again on Wednesday at 6:30. We'll be right here for the pregame. And good luck to Team Nigeria. All right, guys.